Also be paying close attention to how the rivers respond to the influx of rain as we get into the evening hours. We already have multiple rivers overflowing their banks across northern and central Michigan. This a result of days of heavy rain throughout the week. We also continue to see snow melt in parts of the state. Residents in some of those low-lying areas near the Black River, the Little Black River, they were forced to evacuate after a levee breach. And then also, simultaneously, officials in Cheboygan continuing to monitor the Cheboygan Dam, which is nearly a foot above max capacity.
Fox Weather Correspondent Katie Byrne, she's joining us live this morning from Cheboygan. Just looking at what Michigan is dealing with, Katie, and you're in the thick of it. A third, perhaps more than a third, because I'm just gauging with my eyes, a third of the state is under a flood warning right now. And these flood warnings are reserved for only when a flood is ongoing. That's a huge chunk of the state, including Cheboygan.
And that's what a lot of people across the state are reminding us. You know, it's not just one neighborhood, but it's reaching so many people. And there's a lot of different things that we're seeing, not only the flooding, but infrastructure issues. A couple just drove by. They were driving down this road through the water. They say when you get past all of this flooding, there's actually a collapse in the road. So these are some kind of reminders of why you shouldn't be driving through this flooding, because you just don't know what you're going to run into. We have this powerful water that has just caused roads to collapse in some cases. And this is something we've seen across the state. We started out in Traverse City when we first got to Michigan. That's about 2.5 hours from here. And we saw similar damage there. But the flooding you're looking at right now is from a nearby lake called Black Lake. That's essentially one with these homes at this point. And all of this water feeds into the Cheboygan River, where crews are trying to keep that Cheboygan Dam stable, but you can tell it's overwhelmed. It has been for days. These homes have looked this way for 4 days now. And Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, she was on the ground here yesterday with local leaders calling this a slow motion, expensive disaster. And she was emphasizing we're still in crisis mode, not recovery yet.
We are in crisis mode now. Recovery mode will take additional work. Michiganders are strong. Whether it's a historic ice storm or record flooding, we're neighbors, we chip in and we help one another, and we're tough, and we're going to get through this together.
Not far from here, we have crews working on that Cheboygan Dam. They've been doing this work through the night. They've set up floodlights so they can add in additional pumps, sandbags to try to keep that dam stable. They gave a 9 a.m. update on where those water levels are. They've gone down a little bit, so this is good news, but we're still in less than 6 inches mode, which means we're in the set mode of their ready, set, go plan in the county. That means that people who live in the impacted area have been notified that they might need to evacuate. But officials have been emphasizing that that population is a pretty small population. It's a couple businesses and a condo that would be impacted by a potential failure of that dam. So we're monitoring that. But then when you come out to some of these nearby lakes where we are, like Black Lake, we've got Little Black River too, all of those feeding into the Cheboygan River and then overwhelming that dam, you're going to see dozens, if not hundreds, of homes submerged in the water. What's unusual about this flooding too, just in my experience covering flood events, is the people who live in these homes, which I'm told are about 50-50 seasonal properties and year-rounders, they can't do anything about this. They can't start the cleanup right now because they're still underwater. I met the Bison family yesterday as they were packing up their things. They kept thinking, okay, we'll raise things up. They raised things up 4 inches, and then the water kept coming up on the first floor close to what they had thought was a safe spot. So they realized, let's just pack everything up, try to salvage what isn't wet yet, and just get out of here.
Come up fast at times and creeped along, and you go to bed at night thinking, okay, well, we'll be okay, and then it just a couple days ago, it was about 12:30 at night, I got a water alert in the basement, which didn't alarm me too much, and then all of a sudden I went down there, and within 15 or 20 minutes it was entering in all the way around the house. It had, as you can see, this wasn't here 3 or 4 days ago, 3 days ago. So what you're looking at, what we're standing in, is recent over the last 3 days. You could literally watch it come up across the driveway. So we're surrounded.
And the water really hasn't budged. We were here yesterday and it looked the exact same way, if not a bit deeper. So some people are staying with family and friends right now, like the Bisons. Others are staying at nearby shelters that have been set up. We have at least 3 available to folks who are impacted or displaced by this flooding right now, guys.
Yeah, I think, and this is something you and Stephen talked about in the last hour, just how stagnant the water is. And we do have a break. If you look beyond today and past the weekend into next week, there's a nice stretch of dry weather,
Bring
right?
it on.
But that's going to be ultimately what does help. And this is such a beautiful part of Michigan, and to see it and to see
a car
people
coming
suffering,
through
like
here.
it's a loss to property, your home, the damage, and then Katie, I mean, are they having issues too getting into some of the areas just because the roads are blocked?
Oh yeah, it's tough to get around. Some of the main streets are closed too in some stretches. So you'll get 4 miles down a heavily trafficked road, and then it'll be shut down. You'll have to reroute. So lots of closures. That's why kids don't have school for the 3rd day in a row. I believe I think stopped having kids come to school on Wednesday, and they haven't been back in class since because of the closures that we have. They don't want to deal with the buses having to reroute like that. But you can see one car trying to make their way through. Really, the only cars we've seen trying to drive on this road are raised trucks that appear to be able to handle it. But you can tell that water does get pretty deep.
And it shows that it's just a fragile system. People want to live close to a lake. They love the river. They love the lake. In this case, it's the lake. But the cost that we have, it's unfortunate, especially when you're talking about a time of year where things come back to life, and you look forward to being out there.
Yeah, I mean,
now they're going to muck it out.
I'm going to do, has anybody done the hand? So I'm from Michigan, so we say, where are you from on the mitten?
Yeah.
So if that would be Cheboygan, where Katie is up near like the middle finger. So you cross, it's Lake Huron, you have Mackinac Island to the north. It's just a really pretty spot. So,
and all under, basically from your knuckles up, flood warnings.
Yes.
They're all under flood warnings right now.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, so appreciate that look, Katie, as folks face another day of just standing water and more rain on the way. Fox Weather Correspondent Katie Byrne in Cheboygan this morning. Thank you.